liquidity, where you find out how not to be fucking exit liquidity.
Live.
Episode 4 of the Exit Liquidity podcast.
I lost track after
another
like
week.
2.
Today's Monday. Had to take a break from Sunday, but we're back on Monday. I like the Monday thing. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty cool with Monday.
Hence, yeah, I don't know. I just like doing it when I'm feeling like it. Like yesterday, like I got home and I was there's no way I can have like a critically thought out conversation right now.
Oh, these are definitely not critically thought out.
But yeah, but it takes effort.
Are you in Bogota still?
Yeah, I'm leaving in 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, something like that. I'm leaving Friday, and I'm actually sick of this place, to be honest. Not sick of it, but there's just nothing to do here, like besides like party. Over that for the time being.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know if you want to talk specifically about your bags, but I'm curious how the harvest is doing.
No, we can talk about it. I tweeted about it. I'm in deep now. I like flip-flop every hour or so. It's weird because I've never held any collection that has this high of like a cost barrier to entry. And it's like it did literally one sale today. It did 4 yesterday. And I'm worried it was like 10.8 ETH, 10.9 almost. I'm worried because first of all, I don't fully know how to evaluate these things. I had a good catalyst to enter, but I don't know how to manage the position now.
What's a catalyst to enter?
Okay, well, number one, they're fucking cool.
Yeah.
I just think they look sweet. Yeah, and a lot of people think that too.
The live generation part is sick.
Yeah. A lot of people agree that this is like one of the best looking art blocks in a while. Also, like that fact itself, the fact that I was seeing like a lot of like influential people tweet about how fucking cool they were and like how they were adding some to their vault, allegedly. And if you go like the top hold, I told you about this, but the top holders are all like big fucking people. Like I looked at that other Gen Art collection you sent me, and like the top holders were like nobodies, like people holding the same shit that we were holding. But now it's like the top wallet.
Wait, like what? What were the things they were holding that we were holding?
Oh, like fucking cappies and like
I knew
and like this. One of them had honks. I've been back holding honks for a while. I don't expect to do anything with honk, but just like shit, basically. Illiquid shit. Whereas for Harvest, there's like some punk holders in. There's a couple of pretty influential people in the Yuga Labs ecosystem. The top holder is a really big Gen Art collector. From what I can see, this wallet is just a vault, but his vault is insane. He has so much good shit in here. So yeah, like now, like I'm happy with my position, but it also just fucking sucks going a full 24 hours and only seeing one sale.
Especially not like a higher one. Was it a floor scoop or was it?
No, that's one of the good things is like no one's really buying floor. Like I think that's a good thing at least. Like everybody's. At least like most people
farming. They expect theirs to do better than the floor in general.
Rarity, or I think they could just be buying shit that they like, honestly. Because like I've been watching the one guy who's been like setting the floor, basically. He's been like playing around. I've been watching this collection way too fucking much. But this guy's just been moving his listing up and down every couple hours or so. It's at 9.85 right now. No one's been batting an eye at it, but people are buying shit for 11, 12, 13. So I think people, and like each one is so unique too. I don't like the term rarity for this outside of maybe like the background and some of the colors involved, but like some of the pieces just look so like their own. So it's like it's hard to say that one is more rare than another. It's more so I think that definitely plays a factor. Like it's not fully like nounish to the point where rarity doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't mean as much as it would in a normal collection, I think.
Yeah. I think from what we talked about, your outlook was like a few months out.
Yeah, but I didn't expect it to pump 2x.
I didn't. Oh, yeah.
Because
what was your entry again? I know the dollar entry, but not the ETH entry.
I don't know the dollar entry. I know the ETH entry. My ETH entry was 5.3084.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought you were in closer at 8 or 7.
No.
5
I can.
great. With a 10 ETH.
I bought pretty close to I was the third last sale under 6 ETH. And then after that, it just fucking took off. That one Saturday, it just blew up. And I was expecting that to a little bit throughout the weekend and into Monday, but it's been 5 sales the past like 48 hours, so it hasn't really.
I think people are overall like a bit hesitant.
It's just people are priced out now. Like it's 10 ETH, dude. Not that many people have 10 ETH to just drop on some gen art. And like the people who do are like vaulting this shit and just not touching it. So
Especially,
it's a difficult collection to play.
But what was the few months catalyst that you expected? Like at first,
I was just thinking people like this a lot, clearly.
just like a
So
slow build up.
yeah, like people are gonna be at this price, people are gonna be accumulating and just locking it away, not listing it. Like there was very few listed, and the floor price had been like increasing, but the number listed had been going down, which told me that people who were buying were just taking it off the market. So I was thinking like that would continue on a general like uptrend for a little while, and then by the time it got to the point where people were writing threads, like the same thing happened with friendship places. By the time it got to the point where people were writing threads about it and shit, by then it would pop by like a good 2x, 3x or something, and that's when I would sell, when I would start seeing threads. But I don't think that's feasible with a 10 ETH collection. Nobody's tweeting about this and telling people to get in because it's fucking
Nobody can get in.
it's almost $250,000.
Yeah, like I'm just curious, like what has to happen to bring projects of that size to that level? Because I feel like I never seen that happen in front of my face. Something like Nouns. Nouns came out like not that long ago, and they went like nuts. Did you watch that? Did you watch that whole climb? I just haven't watched like a big A tier NFT like really climb. And,
Yeah.
like, what caused those climbs? Like what people see for those kinds of things? Because you're right, the barrier to entry is so high. There has to be something else that happens where people feel like they have to spend that amount of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nouns is a difficult example just because their model's like completely different. I don't know what they look like. I would have loved to see what their early days look like, actually, what their first like 5 nouns look like. But
Or even
yeah,
like
it's a good question. I
squiggles.
don't know.
I feel like that's a better comparison.
It's hard to say because the only NFTs we've really seen, at least like, watched like in front of our faces, like rise to prominence would be like probably
Don't say
I was gonna say Pudgies.
Oh.
Checks are only 2 ETH. Checks are
Yeah.
checks are nobody's priced out of checks yet, or at least most people aren't. I would say Azukis are up there. I mean, they're what, like 15 ETH now?
Yeah, but I feel like those
And they were like
the PFP stuff
4 at one point.
are a hard comparison because it's like
Yeah,
more of a
that's also
status
true.
thing. It's more of a status thing than like Gen Art is because you can just rock it as a
Yeah,
PFP.
you don't
I've
see
seen
many
some people
wearing
put
their.
like Gen Art behind their PFP, do some like editing, but no one really wants to do that.
I've seen people use squiggles as PFPs, but I think also the challenge is that like Gen Art is a lot more scarce. A lot of the good Gen Art collections are like sub 1,000, whereas like PFPs, like the standard is 10K.
Yeah. What is
Like
Harvest? 500?
400, yeah.
400?
400. And then any other Gen Art collection I can think of, like big Gen Art collection I can think of, is under 1,000 or well under 1,000, except for Squiggles. Squiggles is 9.7K.
Yeah, I just don't know
Squiggles are
what.
cool, man. I don't know why you don't like them.
I don't like him. I shout out to Matt, but I just don't like that his PFP is the squiggle.
I think it's cool.
I think it's a terrible PFP. Like I get the
It
whole
works. Like
art
it's
thing,
like
but I'm not a fan.
I think it would be a lot worse if more people use squiggles as profile pictures, because I only have maybe 2 people that I follow, like Matt being one of them, who have a squiggle as a PFP. But if 20 people did, I would totally lose track of which fucking squiggle is which.
Yeah,
When it's just a couple, it's cool, I think.
no, I still can't. I just get like Microsoft Paint, like just screen like sniffing tool off Microsoft Paint like vibes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
ever
I
be a
can see
fan,
that.
but I respect the whole Squiggles movement, I guess. I honestly, I put Harvest way above Squiggles. Way above Squiggles.
In terms of
of
art,
like
yeah, I
personal
mean,
preference and art and like the background behind it. Have you looked into the artist specifically at all?
Not really. I followed him on Twitter.
He replied
That's
to your
about it. I
tweet.
didn't really look into his background. Yeah, I saw. I didn't really look into his background too much. Why is he?
No,
Does he
I
have
have no
a
idea. I
harsh
was wondering
background? Oh,
maybe.
okay.
Oh no, maybe he does something. You know what I mean? That's the catalyst. How much volume has he had? And
I wonder. I think it's 3K, something like that, 2.5K. I
what he makes
wonder.
off of that?
Shit ton, I would bet. The mint
Art
itself was like 4 ETH,
Art Blocks is
and
taking 7.5.
yeah, Art Blocks take. I wonder who like. I
Picks
wonder
his
how
artist.
Art Blocks decides who makes it into the curated like section. Because if you're an artist and you get to launch a collection under Art Blocks curated, that's got to be a big fucking payday. Even if you're making like 10% of what they're seeing, like for so this was a collection of 400, mint was like 4 ETH, I think. So that's like 1,600. Even 10% of that is what, 160 ETH for like in the span. Obviously it's art, like it's hard to put a price on it, but in the span of like a couple days. And then I don't even know if I'm sure they get some sort of creator earnings too.
Yeah,
Like
they're
Art
probably
Blocks
taking
kind of
like
has the
two and a
power to
half.
just like king somebody like that.
I feel like
I
Art
would
Blocks
hope.
5 and they take 2.5 of the trading fees. That seems like a fair split.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the Art Blocks team or what they
Who
are.
knows?
Like,
Maybe this gets you the airdrops and it pays for itself. Especially if this one, or not
well, I don't know
airdrops,
how
like
many.
you get whitelisted or
The thing is
allowance.
I don't know if that's how that works. I think the only like for airdrops, I think the only Art Blocks airdrop that I know was friendship bracelets, which like yeah, that was what like 1.2 ETH at its peak, pretty cool. But whitelists, I don't know. I'm only recently starting to like pay more
We
attention
should have got Matt on
to
here for
Art
this.
Blocks new drops. Yeah, I probably should
See
have.
what the
That
the
would have made a
art
lot of
blocks
sense.
community is.
Yeah.
Give us a rundown on
Well,
that.
I don't know how in he is with them. I don't know anything. They're like shadows to me. Everybody knows their name. I can't put a face to it. I don't know who is.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's too much like whitelist capability with having one of these collections. I think everything's just the public mint. It's just they're usually prohibitively expensive with the curated collections.
yeah. I think I think it's a good play. I'm gonna be honest. If it was me, I'd take the 2x and then run. But I know you're not. You're probably not gonna. You
I
got
don't know if
some.
I don't know what I would get filled at even. Do I have an offer? Maybe I have an offer standing. I haven't checked it in a while. I don't know. It's like people aren't listing much lower. Like people aren't buying, but people aren't selling either. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to say. No, I don't have any offers on this. There's the collection offer of 7 ETH. So if I wanted to liquidate immediately, I could still take a 1.7 ETH profit. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna do that, that's for sure. Not yet.
Yeah. It'll be funny to look back on this and see what happens.
When it
Summer.
goes to when
There
it
you go.
goes to half an ETH and I'm left. I think worst case scenario, I'm not letting it. I'm selling at 3, honestly, if it gets to that.
3?
But I don't think most
You're
people would
holding
do
through
that.
5?
Yeah,
Really?
maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say because like I know a
The
lot of
thing I
these
was
people who I
saying,
entered.
yeah, a lot of people enter together, I feel. And that door is going to close
Well,
very fast. And if you have a
I'm,
reason to sell, other people don't feel like they have a reason to buy. So there's not going to be too much demand, I feel
I
like.
don't know about entered together, but in my mind, from what I saw on socials, a lot of people who had already made it essentially a lot of rich people entered, and they entered to have as like a part of their collection because they thought it was fucking cool and they just wanted a piece. Whereas me, yes, I think it's cool. Like it's definitely like the sweetest NFT I've ever owned, but at the same time, like that's 20 grand, dude. Like I have to be liquidating this at some point. So I'm definitely thinking about it differently than the rest of than not the
Do
rest
you take
than
ETH prices into
a good bit
consideration
of the
at all?
holder bases. I've been thinking about it, but
Because if we
I've been
tank from
thinking I should
here,
be, but no.
because if we tank from
Yeah, I mean,
here, then
I
it
don't
gets
know. I'm
tougher.
always long ETH. Like, what
Our
difference does it make
lives,
whether it goes up or down? Like,
yeah. I mean, our lives.
whether I sell this thing or not, like the money, the least exposure that like investment will have will be in liquid ETH. If I sell it, I'm not putting any of it into US. I'm not diversifying to Bitcoin or bonds or whatever the fuck. Like it's gonna stay in ETH.
Yeah.
At best it stays in ETH. At worst it gets distributed across 10 different like shitty like point zero two ETH NFTs that I'm trying to flip. Like
Did you pull the trigger
there's
on that one that you sent today?
no, I was joking about that one actually. I sent it because of the tagline or like the
Yeah,
description.
the art is not
It was
important.
like
Yeah.
it was he literally
Who I am is
moved
not
the words
important.
around.
Yeah. That's why I was like, no way he's serious here. You run it back. I'm like, please.
No, I mean, I think this is a different guy who just liked the phrasing, thought he could move it around and no one would notice.
No, this guy just made a derivative of the 9 zone
Well, oh yeah. I mean, it's a derivative of
and then
that
just
definitely, but I was talking
made
about
the
like the
different
anon
name.
thing.
Yeah. I actually accidentally went on that Twitter again, the abstractions
Yeah.
Twitter, and like I'm pretty sure the pinned tweet is, oh, like we're getting audited by like a developer. Trust us. Like
For
we'll be
what?
good.
Audited
I have
for
no
what?
idea. I think the last thing that they were supposed to drop just didn't happen because they got hacked to shit, and then they're just sitting and waiting until they get this audit before anybody clicks on anything, which is
Dude, I think we
crazy.
should buy checks.
Oh, you're nuts.
I know they're at
Nuts.
2 ETH. I know they're at 2 ETH,
Oh, nah,
but
I
like
won't. Are they like
there's
they're
some shit
burning
going
shit,
on here,
right?
dude.
They're burning.
Jack just keeps I don't know if they're burning yet, but he just keeps changing like the checks. Like yesterday it was like in the shape of a Pepe, today they're in the shape of 1 billion punk.
Wait, he's changing all of them at once?
Yeah, he's just changing the metadata.
Motherfucker. Jeez, man. That sucks. That sucks. That one hurts, man.
I was literally 100x from mid. Wait, yeah,
But we
100x
weren't
from
looking
mid.
at mid though. Where were
Yeah, but still, we were looking at.
like
I think first time
0.01?
I saw it, it was like 0.05. I just didn't think much of it. And then I saw a different Jack Butcher collection that was like the fucking like network, whatever it was. I was like, oh, dude, this is it. This is the one.
You really like that one.
Yeah, I got
You
a
really
2x on
like
it.
that one. That's
I
not
didn't.
bad.
Yeah, I sold like 2 out of 3 for a 2x, and then I think I still have one.
Damn, checks, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yes, they had like the brown, like a bunch of skin tones not long ago. I don't understand. Are they burning yet? I like don't want to keep up just because like I'm upset about them.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
So I don't want to pay attention.
Even though it's like impossible to avoid all of these like checks memes and all this shit. Like
Yep.
every project is doing that with everything. Oh yeah, he just changed it to punks. Fuck.
What do we learn from this? What people are buying this shit for 2 ETH, dude. I can't like
I think
consistently.
yeah, that's a good question. What do we learn from this?
I
I
think
think
like
we underestimated follower count, yeah.
big name leader with an already established brand. I guess you didn't know about like visualized value when this
I
first came
didn't, but
out.
I should have realized like with a 300K follower count and the whole brand is the idea of brands and branding and marketing. Their whole
Yeah,
shtick
that's
was
true.
like being able to market yourself. We should have known that I should have known that this guy was going to be like a fucking insane marketer. I just didn't think he was as in the NFT ecosystem as it's shown that he is. Like the way that he's literally like pulling on people's emotions like every day basically
Yeah.
with all these like new things, and they put out fucking merch already.
I think it's also just like how easily like you can make a derivative out of these for literally anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally anything. Like it's so just like malleable. Like you can do
Yeah.
anything with them really in
I'm
terms
pretty
of
sure
art.
Gabriel Haynes just made one.
He did. It
Everyone's
was like
doing
a
them like
machete check
open
thing.
edition. Yeah. The open edition
Yeah.
meta, I don't like
I'm
open
not a
editions
huge
at
fan of
all.
that, to be honest.
I
I don't
don't.
really
I hate open
like,
editions.
I don't know. Like, what's the point, really? I guess.
It seems like such a quick money grab.
Yeah. It's like it's like trying too hard to make FOMO, like to induce FOMO.
Dude, and the fact that people like played into this, like
Oh
of all
yeah. Well,
things,
by the time people did that, it was like this thing had already reached escape velocity by then. Like it's
yeah, but
uh,
I feel like that probably adds like a whole ETH of like floor price and like perspective
I don't know about that.
growth. I think so. I think he's gonna do something. I don't think he's gonna tweet about something like that without collaborating in some way. And knowing what we know about Jack now, I feel like they're gonna do something significant together. Because at this point, he has the grasp of the entire NFT market, and he's held on to it for, let's say, a good 5 days, close to a week,
Yeah,
which I
I
think is hard
mean,
to do.
I don't
It
know.
sucks.
I'm just upset, is all.
I feel like
And I'm gonna continue to be upset about it.
we're gonna have a lot of those, though. I feel like I've had to
Yeah,
accept
yeah,
that
it
fact.
happens. I've already had a lot. I don't know. I guess technically I saw punks when they were at like 1.5. I didn't know what the fuck they were, what the hell ETH was, but
Wait,
I did
really?
see them. But yeah, but it was like because like OpenSea, like some NFT marketplace was like when I was first learning about it, those were like the first dApps I saw. And it was like $300 at the time for a punk. And I was like, why the hell would someone spend $300 on this shit? Like it like doesn't even look that good. It's 5 pixels. What are these people thinking? And yeah,
You
I
know how
fucked
that
up
turned
on
out.
that one.
What else do we got? So this, our NFT is gonna save us.
Our NFT is gonna save us.
We're at, not to jump in as the macro guy, but we're at like a pretty pivotal point.
Let me see how my
What could
green line
happen?
is looking right now. That's the only thing that
Yeah, let's
matters.
share screen on the green line.
On the green line, yeah, I got you. Oh, you got to give me access.
Oh
It says
shit.
disabled. Oh, we're well above the green line right now. Anyways, we already broke out of it. God, I sound like such a fucking virgin.
The green line. I have no idea how to give you access. Allow participants to share screen. You should have it. Oh no, there you go.
Okay, now I got it. All right, so anyways, this is the
The
green
green
line.
line.
So this is my entire macro strategy, is this one line and on the S&P 500. And as you can see, it's performed. I think I drew it like, I probably drew it like close to December, I think. Like we got close. We opened right at it and then we nuked. It was like, damn, if I had been paying attention, that would have been a good opportunity. And then right here, we tried to break out of it, and then we did break out of it. So I don't know, maybe we go back down and we like
Test it.
flirt with it a little bit, and then we go back up. Yeah, I don't know, it could be a thing. I don't know, I'm not a fucking doctor. I was looking at it. What was I looking at a second ago? It was cool. Saw like a nouns auction like thing, like a better alternative to this thing. Whoops.
What did they just auction?
Better alternative to this thing. It's an ongoing auction. It's this is what the actual site looks like, but this one you
But
got
why
some
is
like
that going
traits,
for
you can see
27
average.
ETH though?
Because it's a fucking noun. What do you mean?
Oh, that's it? Dude, I saw that like the only real thing they do is share treasury. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but you know what they do with that treasury? Dude, nouns is like if I could be a part of any DAO, like financial upside being one thing, but just like for the vibes and obviously financial upside being a thing, like I would hands down like get a noun and join this. There's so much. It's essentially just like crowdfunding, but and the DAO votes on what to fund, and they build up their treasury by auctioning nouns. So like you sell a noun each day for 30 ETH. You're making 30 ETH a day for your treasury. Your treasury also has some amount of nouns in it. I don't know how many nouns are in here, but there's some nouns in the treasury. They have a 45 mil treasury, and they just fund shit. Like for example, is it like NARS, something like that? Yeah. So this is like a sub DAO where like basically the premise is that like with a lot of different fields in like extreme sports, incentives are misaligned for who is like for how athletes are paid. Like why is Red Bull or like Monster funding like athletes? They like that shit's not good for you. Kids who look up to these athletes are going to see that stuff, and it's obviously it's not the most egregious example, but it's a thing. So Nouns is like, all right, that's cool. Let's make a sub DAO and let's fund these athletes ourselves. And we'll use the branding. Have you seen, I don't know if you've seen that there's like an intro video for Nouns that's like super high quality that like, I don't even think they mentioned like crypto or Web3 or I think they mentioned decentralized in it. But like you can, it's just like a cool video, like a cool intro. It has nothing, like you would not know that it has anything to do with crypto. It's really just like a crowdfunding platform, really. I know they were trying to like, yeah, this one was, I think I voted on
like
this
a
one actually.
multi-sig?
What do you mean?
Is there treasury and just like a multi-sig? Like a Gnosis safe?
Yeah,
like
yeah, I was just looking at it right here. Right? Yeah, they vote on like deploying
moves
in
the
different
money,
places,
though?
like the DAO. They were just voting. They were just voting the other day on what was it? On staking. Yeah, staking an additional 5,000. I vote in these sometimes because the Lil Nouns DAO has 9 nouns, and each noun is one vote. Like each noun is one vote, but Lil Nouns there's like 10,000 of those. So like we all get to choose how to allocate our 9 votes together. It's pretty cool, honestly. Like you get to feel like you're doing something, even though you're not. What was there was one where they're gonna. Just trying to look at one of them.
But how do they get executed exactly?
What do you mean?
Okay, let's say the proposal is to give.
To fund Zach. We proposed to fund Zach.
So who goes in and types in Zach XBT's ETH address?
It's the same as any other DAO. Someone submits a proposal. They say, hey, look right here. Let's send 100 ETH to ZachXBT.eth. And then they vote on it, and it gets done. This is a very simple, probably the most simple example you can find, though. Like, he's got the NS domain. It's literally just transferring ETH. Some of them are a bit more complicated, just especially because
people managing them.
Yeah, and there's like stuff in the real world that's like this one, bring nouns to 2 million people. Like you have to rely on some. This one's actually really cool. They're bringing like nouns to this like the biggest ski resort in Japan or something like that. Where's the Jesus Christ? Yeah, I guess it's the same in any case, but it's different when. Can I mint this? No, I guess it's different when fuck. I guess I can mint it. That's cool. Yeah, it's different when there's like a real world element involved. There has to be some sort of trusted party there.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know how it works at that end. Maybe that's where something like NARS comes in or some other like organization.
That's pretty cool.
Free menus.
I just don't get why no one was able to replicate this.
It's an entirely new like revenue model. Or not new, but it's an entirely unique revenue model. Like nouns and null nouns.
Yeah, but when was launched?
I want to say 2001, late 2001, maybe.
Wait,
I don't know.
what?
Nouns? There's 600 of them. Oh, sorry, 2021, not 2001. Okay. Yeah, August 2021.
Oh, that's
yeah, no, it's like a whole like you have all these different revenue models for like organizations in Web3, and this is I think I sent you that read a while ago from Mason from Variant, where like he talked about a couple of different like revenue models within Web3, and one of the ones he talked about was like the nounish model, which it really only works if you have a brand with this kind of power and like this kind of effectiveness. But it's like at least obviously it inflates to zero. Like I hate when people say that to me about nouns. It's like kind of a trigger for me. They're like, oh, they mint forever. Like it's gonna go to dingus. How long is 10,000 days? Tell me, like, how long is it going to be before we get there?
Like, it started off with what? 1, 2, 5?
Yeah. It started off with 1.
Oh,
they minted 1. The next day they minted another. The very next day they minted another. And they kept doing that. And now 600 days later, they've got 600 of them.
That's pretty cool.
Nouns are cool.
That's pretty cool, but I just don't see why no one's replicated it yet, to be honest.
I think it's because the challenge is like, the challenge is having a strong enough brand behind it. Not only a strong enough brand, but also an actually like effective brand that does shit like Nouns does, because you have to have enough demand in each of these auctions for this to be like feasible. Like low Nouns, I'm sure they don't like auction off, or they don't like have winners of each auction. Like they can't. It's not feasible. They have one noun every 15 minutes forever. What the fuck? No one's going to be snapping up every single one of those.
Is there a base price for the auction?
For low nouns,
do they not get picked up sometimes?
For low nouns, it's 0.15, but I don't think that I don't think the auction starts until the first bid is placed. For nouns, I would imagine each one gets stacked up just because the supply is
Oh
still
yeah,
so low.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saw the
I'm
guy
also
from
convinced
DAO
that
5 talking about it, and the way he described like the way that nouns
what is DAO
like
5?
enhance. It's that one guy from Hollychain that started his own fund that's transitioning into a DAO.
Mm,
They raised a good
okay.
amount of money. It had a lot of publicity in the beginning, the bull market.
A lot of really smart people like nouns.
Yeah, and he was a
Variant
fan.
Variant has a whole. I'm convinced Variant has. I'm just now seeing they have disclosed owning a number of nouns. They disclosed out 2 months ago. I remember Dan had always known about nouns, but like when I bought mine, he like looked into them a little more. He was like, "Dude, these things are fucking sweet. I got to get in on this."
Yeah, but I think like the reason I'm saying like why hasn't it been replicated is because to me like that power in terms of like marketing as well comes from the money in general. It can't be a shit idea with a shit ton of money, but like it doesn't have to be that good if it has enough money because anyone can
What?
be bidding on these.
Yeah,
Like
I think there's
realistically,
level.
they disclose how many they have, but like for all we know, they could have been behind it since or like 20 and just inflating. And then if you have
Well,
enough
who's
money to
they? Who's they? It's a DAO.
yeah, so it could be any ETH address. Any of these ETH addresses from the beginning could be like any VC that has like a
Oh yeah.
pocketbook
Yeah,
to spend.
I'm sure there's. I
But I
mean,
don't get why
there's at least one
nobody else has
confirmed.
tried it.
I don't know. I think there's levels to it. Like obviously, like you need to generate demand for this like consistent auction. In order to do that, you need to have a good brand and good ideas for how you're going to use the funds. In order to do that,
But
you
it's
need to
just
have.
proposals. I feel like it's the proposals and the things they do that get
So
them
then
the
it's
advance in the auctions. So if you
then you
just
could
do
say
cool
it's like any
shit,
DAO.
yeah.
It's like any
Well,
DAO where you just need good members. That's all it is. If the Lao or the Flamingo were to go and start some model like this to fund part of their investments, like they would have people lining up. Like a lot of people would be interested in that. Like DAOs are really hard to evaluate until they've reached the point where it's already like consensus, just because there's no way to know how effective they are without knowing the people in them and like seeing what the discussion's like until you reach the level of something like nouns where it's known and like you can see like what they're like the impact of what they're doing in real
we're
time.
about yeah. I think Nouns is. I just think it's. I think it's doable to mimic it if you do the right things. I think it's a large commitment, but I don't see the. No, I do see the moat that they have, but I just don't get why I haven't seen more of them. Like, why haven't there been so many of these like
You know
derivatives?
what?
I feel like with any successful NFT project, the derivatives are there.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that? Especially like when a DAO model works so well, when no DAO model works right now, it's like why hasn't that been mimicked for so many other
What
things?
it could be is number one, I think Nouns DAO has only recently come under the spotlight over the past like 2, maybe 3. Even then, I don't think it's as much of a spotlight as they deserve. In addition to that, there was a proposal I saw back in November, October, maybe. Ah, fuck, I wish I could find it. It was
What
essentially like
I'm curious as to what's getting you and other people like to click on and
I just
participate in the governance. I feel like that's the lesson
participate
that
in
needs to be
governance
learned.
like it's for shits. Like honestly,
I mean,
I'm
like,
trying to
but
be
there's
more
so many
active
other
in
people
Lil
though.
Nouns because it's there.
What's the voting percentage of holders on Nouns?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. It depends. Actually, let me look at the Zach proposal. That was probably like the most active one. Looks like about a third of all nouns voted in this one, which is
Third?
pretty good. That's really fucking good, actually.
That is
That's
very
really
good.
good. Let's see one of the newer ones. Oh, these are still pending. But anyway, as I was saying, the proposal I saw a while ago is essentially it was like a framework to allow this model to become easily forked. Like you cannot change the art at all if you want. You can just have it be a way to set up a DAO, set up like a crowdfunding platform, an investment platform, whatever, and just fund it by auctioning off now. Like you can either auction off nouns that look similar to this with different traits, or you can make your own art or whatever. It's just like a hub or like a framework to eat for any for anyone to easily do this, essentially. That proposal passed a couple months ago, I think. So like it's totally feasible to go and do it, I think. I'm also seeing this proposal for the Japanese ski resort. It looks like 282 nouns voted in it, which is almost half. That's crazy.
Did they do things that, like in the beginning when they weren't raising as much, and they didn't have as much in their treasury, and they didn't have as many things that they would be able to do? Like, what do they do in that? What did they do in that situation that took them?
We can see. We can go. All right, you gotta give me screen sharing access.
I think this is like more like about the reason I'm so intrigued is like just the DAO aspect of it.
You can see it's really cool because we're at proposal 230 right now, and you can go all the way back and see the first one.
230 is not a lot.
No, it's not. Honestly,
they've been $45 million treasury.
They've been pumping the fuck out recently. There've been a lot coming out. And you also have to consider a lot of these don't pass too. It's a good group. It's a good group of people. But anyways, so if you look at these, it's like stake 5,000 ETH in Lido. Bring nouns to 2 million people at Japan's best ski resort. Stake another 5,000.
But
like extending the Nouns AI podcast. Nouns funding Zach.
Is it a good group of people or is it a fucking rich group of people? Is that what is the difference maker? I get it. Like they're
I think that's where the brand comes in, because I think there's this like the kind of people associated with nouns, at least from what I've gathered, the few people I know who have nouns who are more interested in nouns are like full on like OGs, like people who have been around for a long time, people who like nouns aren't the most well-known NFT. Let's be honest, like Pudgies are way more well-known. Azukis, punks, obviously, apes, like all these, plenty of other NFT checks. Like shit, checks are bigger than nouns at this point. So like they're not well-known enough for someone to just have money and come and dump it in there. You also have to have a level of knowledge to kind of understand the vision.
The treasury is the part that like I'm focused on. Like those other projects that are more well known, like their motto is the creator fee model. Like what did Nouns do so well that built the treasury? It's a $47 million treasury?
You have to consider Nouns makes, I don't know what the average is, but I would guess somewhere between 30 and 50 ETH daily just from the auction that they do.
But when did the treasury get big? Okay, so the first proposal was to donate.
We can see. I think we can take the address and plug it into a
D-Bank.
Plug it into a wallet tracker somewhere or something. Yeah.
Because were they doing things that made them money, or were they only doing things that?
I think that's what sets them apart. Is for the most part, at least the proposals I see now, the proposals I've seen since I started paying attention aren't exactly like money.
They're making money with Lido.
Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of fucking ETH staked. There's that. What time frame is this on? This is on like a day. Can I see like a year history? I actually have used D-Bank like twice, maybe.
Zapier's probably better, honestly, for that.
I don't want to. What? Zapier? Zapper.
Yeah. I don't know why I added an I in there.
Can we see it on Etherscan? I swear we can just see it on Etherscan. Check previous Ether balance. Oh, dude. Block date. Let's just go all the fucking way back. What was it? August 22, 21? Please don't show me a snapshot of the date.
Okay.
What is this? No, that's not what we want. Select the date for the balance. Why? All right, anyways.
Click on the...
They had around, but within the first month, they started around 600 ETH. They were up to 3,000. So those auctions were printing early on. They had interest very early on.
Wait, what's like what's the first day? Yeah, there it is. Oh, you can't go past. Oh no, try that. Yeah.
I can't go past.
Why?
I don't know. This is fucking stupid. And what was like? We were just trying to see like the trend.
What did they start with? Yeah, what did they?
They had 3,000 ETH around the first month, and now they're
How do you
30,000.
start with 3,000
Totally
ETH for
feasible.
one person? It
It
was
was the
one
first
NFT.
month. The first month. So it could have been, I don't know exactly what day they launched, but it could have been up to 30. They could have sold each one for 10 ETH. 100 ETH, and they make 3,000. Fuck, my math's all fucked up. But it makes
Dude,
all right, let's just
you can't get you can't get people to buy a harvest for 10 ETH right now. And you're telling me people
but
are
this is
buying for 100
Nouns.
ETH, 100 ETH
This
for
is
two
100 ETH was
for a
different
two-person
back then.
DAO.
People were
You
rich
could have
back
just been
then.
in a Zoom call for a two-person
People,
DAO. You're telling me people paid 100 ETH to be a part of a two-person
maybe
DAO?
they didn't pay. Maybe they paid.
I'm telling
I don't
you,
know.
Variant pumped this from the start, bro.
No,
That's my take.
Variant wasn't the powerhouse they used to be back then, I think. Look at this. If you assume each noun sold for 300 ETH, then that
I
puts
mean,
them
just
at
think about how
18,000.
hard it is to get. I guess August
And they're at
2021 was a
27,000.
different time, but getting 3,000 ETH in a month in volume alone is not easy. At least now it's not.
I don't know. We
weren't
we
paying
could
attention
honestly
back
dig
then.
more into this and find out that this is like startup capital or something like that. Maybe it's not all from the nouns. But what was the thing that I was initially going to show was these first proposals, which I think is pretty fucking cool. Donate 5 each to 6 charities. They're talking about staking 6. They're talking about staking 5,000 ETH now. And here's, let's give out 30 ETH.
So who were the nouns that voted?
These guys. Noun 8, noun 2, noun 1, noun 6. Oh, who is this? Who's noun 1? Oh, fucking. What was the name? Xvault.eth?
It's fucking Vitalik.
I would. Well, do you think this has been tricked? He's got a fox for a head. That's fucking sweet. Has it moved?
No, just transferred.
No. He just kept the shit this whole time. Who is this guy? Oh, he's a punk holder. He's a multiple punk holder.
That's what I'm saying, dude. This is a fund. I don't care what anyone says. This is a fund.
Dude, if you get in from on nouns from day one, like odds are you probably got into punks early too. No. What the hell is this shit? Every day is oh my god, this poor guy. He spent 69 ETH on this shit.
Oh my god.
What is this?
I was just about to say
It might be a
wallet
rare or
track.
something like that. I don't know. What is this thing?
All right, we're off. We're off.
Oh,
What are we thinking for whether or not this NFT run that we're seeing right now does anything for us? Sends us to the promised land.
like, I don't think it does.
You don't?
I don't know. What's going on right now is totally oh shit, I thought this was fun. Is this Santiago? Sorry, I got sidetracked. None. What's going on right now is damn, that's an awkward first picture to have on my Twitter when I pop that up. No, it's not Santiago. But we can cut all that out. Anyways, I think what's happening right now is like totally fine the way it is, like, and will continue to happen without any external pressure on the system. I think what's happening now has been happening for a while. Obviously, there's a couple of exceptions, like additional capital flowing into things like checks or like pudgies when that was going on.
Do you think we're still PvP?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what needs to change for anything to take us anywhere. Like it's not going to be checks, that's for sure. It's not going to be any of the collections we have right now that play a significant role in that. I think like it's going to be something that gets new money in the system. I don't know.
Don't you think I'm pretty sure Jack with checks thinks that he's bringing in new people, or that's their.
He might be.
Their,
There's a good chance he might be.
Do you think he has?
I haven't been watching it as close as I should have. I think just given the volume he's done and just how prominent these have been, it's totally feasible. But that being said, like it's hard to say. Like we're still pretty in a bottle. No new person woke up today and is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy my first NFT. Like for what? Unless
I disagree with the fact that we need that. I'm gonna be honest. Like
where's the money?
A bunch of people, but like a bunch of people waking up one day and saying that they want to buy NFTs. That did happen, and that's quote unquote why we're paying attention to NFTs right now. But I think, okay, the Trump people came. There was like
Yeah, but
50% of the Trump shit was like on credit cards.
that's not
And nobody gives a fuck.
flowing into the rest of the ecosystem. That's in a bottle. That's like
Yeah,
number
because
one,
the
that's on
on ramp.
Polygon.
Yeah, because the on ramp is the easiest on ramp possible, which is credit card. So if you
Yeah.
make it as easy as possible and people still don't enter the ecosystem at all, like then what's supposed to happen? Because I get it for DeFi. Like I get it for DeFi where it was APYs. Like it was basically APYs, and it was people saying that Luna and UST was a savings account at 20% APY. I get that part, and I get being a regular person, and I saw those regular people, and I get the meme coins. I get those, but there's only so many people that are gonna care about like pictures and images, and the gaming people.
How is that not a stronger, how is that not as strong, if not stronger of a case than meme coins?
No, meme coins are like lottery tickets. I don't think NFTs are. Yeah, the gains on NFTs are better than DeFi and similar to meme coins, but I don't think people see them as. Well, I guess maybe because the barrier to entry is harder. You can jump on Coinbase or Crypto.com and buy a meme coin as soon as it lists. Way easier than buying like a rocketing NFT project. I guess
Not
that's.
anymore, I don't think. You can buy shit very easily on OpenSea with credit card. You just said that with the Trump NFTs.
Yeah, but
I think if
getting
anything, it was harder with
no,
shitcoins
but the
because your
Trump
options were
NFTs was
limited.
an email. The Trump NFTs was an email. You put your card
Right, you can
information on the
still,
website and got it on an email. You didn't have to go into OpenSea. Like
but my
you
point
didn't
is you can
go.
still go on OpenSea and add funds with a credit card. Whereas for meme coins, sure, you could do that on Coinbase, but with what? With Dogecoin, with Shiba, and with what else?
I don't know. I just don't know what it is that makes people. I have people that like from this last run. I have people that when as soon as they ask me, "Oh, what is this coin and what is that coin?" That's what I'm selling. I have that list of people ready to go, like in my IRL life. And I've heard those people talk about Luna. I've heard those people talk about meme coins. I have not heard those people talk about NFTs.
So maybe we
And
don't want them to know yet. I don't know.
fuck
Personally,
that. I
I'm
do.
not talking about, I'm not worried about, I don't know. I'm not worried about what's gonna bring more people in or what's gonna take us to the promised land because I think the way things are going now, like for as allegedly like devoid of opportunity as we should be, especially over the last couple months, everyone's like, oh, it's so fucking boring. Everything sucks. There's no
It
opportunity,
hasn't.
this and
Yeah.
that. It's all there. Like
Yeah.
you just have to look. Like people obviously aren't talking about it because once they start talking about it, it's time to sell. Like it's once they start talking about it, it's too late. So I'm fine with this period being the way it is. And I don't know, the promised land being one thing, that's like a different game. Once we get there, I'll evaluate that because you can't play that the same way we've been playing the last 3 to 4 months. At least you shouldn't play that the same way. Wouldn't play it nearly as careful as we have been.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's like a moot point almost in my eyes. Like I think I don't know. The promised land sounds great and all, but there's a lot of work to be done here still.
But like the idea of an NFT run generating a bull market, I didn't see what that was last time. I didn't see what that looked like last time. I guess I did. It was apes. It was punks. It was that's pretty much it. And then like a bunch of people launching projects. But I just don't see it for today. I don't see what it would look like. What is everyone what are we waiting for? I don't know what we're waiting for. And so I feel like it's making it a few times harder to recognize when it arrives if we don't know what we're looking for. Are we waiting for a fucking feeling? I guess the statistical trigger would be like volume on the on-chain basis. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. But I don't see what causes that. Unless you want to be like a macro guy and be like, oh, when rates get cut again and people start having more money that they can borrow easily or whatever. That seems like
You could say it's once we start having actually like usable products. or I don't know, talking about NFTs in specific, like an efficient like NFTfi ecosystem could do wonders. Like we did all this volume, we did all this pumping last bull market with little, essentially no leverage. You still essentially have no leverage, and now we're on the verge of having perps
Some
outperforming
people were
spot with volume, of
some
having
people were saying that leverage is what's driving what we have now.
an NFTs.
Yeah, you could
Hell no.
borrow and lever up on NFTs.
We had this talk. We had this talk last week. We looked at the volume of NFTfi and other lending
No,
platforms and saw it was a fraction of the overall market.
yeah, but I was on a new lending website, not NFTfi. It's like a black and white one. I think I sent it to you. I forget what it is. I don't think it's Arcade. It might be Arcade.
I don't think it's arcade.
I forget which one it is. Fuck. But like
Arcade's
people,
not.
there's some levering up going. I mean, if you go on Milady's right now, like the volume is nothing, but the floor is up like 3/4 of an ETH since last time, and it's just steady climbing. And they're one of the only ones that aren't like real blue chips that are listed on NFT perp. I
Malady's been
feel like
doing a
there's
lot of volume on NFT per. Oh shit, yeah.
yeah. So I think that's like the first example of what you were saying that we're seeing, which I
But the
also
thing
agree
is,
with.
like, you look at them right now, and all those options suck. Like, they're not. They're not. Like, sure. Like, I think NFT perp has been a great insight into what things could look like. How, like, with Milady specifically, you can see like what that kind of volume can do to a collection. But that's one very specific example, and it's like the effects of that aren't like extractable to the rest of the ecosystem.
I
Like
think
lending is still shit.
the question is like people like me and you are the exact target consumer that someone like NFT perp would have. And the
Mhm.
question is, why don't we use NFT perp every single day? And I think my answer to that question is I don't see any of the top, whatever. I think they have 5, 6 NFT projects on there. I don't see the top like 5 doing anything in terms of like significant movement, and other than Milady's. So I don't see the real need. And yeah, that's like my solid reason. Why don't
But
you use NFT perp?
what do we trade daily? How many of the collections? How
I
many of
mean,
the
put
collections
aside
that
daily.
you
Put aside
Okay,
daily.
yeah, forget
Like
daily. How many
weekly.
of the collections that you've put any money into are listed on NFT perp? Zero. I'll
Bro.
answer that for you. The answer is zero. Same
Yeah.
for me, it's zero. That's the problem. Is like when something like checks comes along, let's say NFT perp
Yeah, but what would we
is
do
launched
if
on
we
mainnet.
had what would you do if you had Harvest on there? The only thing you would do
I
is
would short
hedge.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
only
I
thing
would
you would do
do
is
it. That's the
hedge.
point, is I would use it. Like
Yeah, but the point of NFT purpose to give people that don't have the option to don't have the liquidity to buy something that high of a tier
but that's my it's
and
the
and
everything's
hedge
still
against
so
it.
nascent that everywhere that opportunity exists is not applicable to most people. Azukis, Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, Punks, everything here with the exception of maybe Miladies, all these people can already go and properly hedge against these assets through any lending platform. Like these are all experiments that are starting out with the easiest, most obvious, most liquid collections. And sure, like that's important. That's like the best way to go about it, but it's still so early. And even the solutions for these guys like suck to the point where the amount of volume and leverage that it's creating within the system is like negligible.
I don't think they suck. I think a lot of it is to blame, like a lot of the blame it has to come with the way that these things are integrated. I feel like they're not smoothly integrated at all. Like you're in OpenSea and you're out of OpenSea, or you're in Blur. Like I could see Blur. Like if like they're trying to be like a quick trading kind of thing. If they launch perps, people are gonna use the fucking perps within that app.
Yeah, X2Y2, X2Y2, X2, whatever, the marketplace, they have a lending like lending and borrowing feature now. And it's like second or third biggest.
Yeah,
Like
but
third, I think, behind
X2Y2
Dead and
aren't they
Antifa.
shut off from OpenSea listing and stuff? Blur bypassed
Yeah,
the Seaport thing like last week.
yeah. But the point being is that like the point being that this is all stuff that's like in the process of being worked on, but it's not there. Like everything we're talking about that needs to happen is like being done. It's just not anywhere near there. Like Dan, for example.
Do you want to name
Like
drop who's doing it? Because I don't.
I guess to what you just mentioned, like talking about people building like entire suites of NFT trading experiences.
Yeah, but there's like the Chinese wall barrier around OpenSea that is causing these other applications not to be able to be used.
Yeah, but do you think that lasts? I think either
Like,
that doesn't last, or
what if
OpenSea has to pick up these features on their own eventually.
Yeah, as soon as OpenSea picks up these features, everyone's dead. No?
Yeah, if they do it the right way, totally. But I don't think
it's like you don't.
I
see
think
that
in the long
same
run, that's
wall. You don't see that same wall around like DeFi. I feel like there's more like integrations. Like the meme was that everything was looped around everything, and everyone was levered up around. Not specifically in DeFi, like levered up to the shit, but like everyone uses every protocol that gains an APY basically uses like earn or yearn. So like there was no like wall in between these protocols, I feel. And that wall I feel is the biggest problem with NFTfi.
It's a problem that hasn't existed, I think, in crypto before, really. Yeah. And even now, like what percentage of Arbitrum yield would you say comes from GLP? There's no way it's anything. Yeah. I would say there's no way it's anything less than 60%.
Yeah, I was gonna say 75.
Honestly, like it's still happening. Like people find one thing that works in DeFi, and they're like, "All right, let's just."
Because there's no wall. There's no wall to enter.
No, yeah, everything's composable. I think that's to the advantage of DeFi. But the problem is you don't have unified liquidity or composability in the NFT space. You have OpenSea and Coinbase NFT, and once upon a time we had FTX NFTs. Like it wasn't unified the way that it's supposed to be, quote unquote, in crypto.
Did you see, speaking of like multi-chain, did you see the whole Uniswap and like the A16 shit?
I didn't get to read the thread oh wait, I'm thinking of something else.
Oh, we need to practice like speaking to audience members. So if you guys didn't know, basically Uniswap had a proposal to go cross-chain to Binance. And they have to do it pretty quickly because they're some kind of, I want to say, copyright on their code basically evaporates in April, I want to say. And they lose first mover advantage completely. But if they don't move to Binance, they're going to lose everything to some competitor that copies their UniV3 code. And within that proposal, they have to pick, I didn't really see why they had to pick one multi-chain messenger, but I guess they have to pick a main one. And so the competition was between Wormhole, which is backed and basically created by Jump, and then Layer 0, which is completely backed by A16Z. And so there was like basically 80 pages worth of comments on the governance tab, which is like the most that's ever happened on Uniswap governance. And yeah, people were arguing what exactly was to happen. And so I was curious what you think about that, the whole idea. I think the main takeaway a lot of people had was the scary thought that the VCs control Uniswap. The VCs control, especially with the whole non-VC Canto movement that was happening. What are your thoughts on that as a fellow VC guy?
People...
VCs
are misunderstood. I think they're...
You think so?
Okay, I don't think that they deserve more credit than they're given. I think that they are obviously there's exceptions, and I don't like to discredit the good people in the space because
great people in
there are lots of them. But I think people they've just become a scapegoat. Like people, it's so common. It's so common to get mad at VCs for dumping. So like, check your unlocks calendars. Fucking Axie Infinity has whatever capital unlocking this month, and they dump every month. It's like, fuck, like why can't these guys stop selling? And then you have Uniswap. Oh, they're not selling. They're actively participating in governance with their 4% share. Oh man,
Yeah,
fuck these
but
guys.
you gotta realize.
Why can't they?
But
Why can't they get rid of it?
the
What do you
the
want them to do?
argument. No, but the argument is they have A16Z specifically has 4%, and 4% is the exact amount needed to veto any vote. So essentially, they're them in the Uniswap governance world.
That's not their fault though. And
That
what
isn't their
scenario
fault.
is that
That isn't their
fault?
fault. But the idea of a DAO and the idea of DAO governance is not that. It's
Right.
not that.
Yeah, no,
I
that
think
I
that's
totally
that.
agree.
I completely understand the VCs and the idea that these organizations that people end up loving need to start somewhere with some kind of funding, and they wouldn't happen without these VCs. And we all love the VCs, but I'm saying like it's like a show of force almost, where it's like A16Z is gonna get their way no matter what.
And I think that's a problem with the governance process more than anything else. That's like the same, like being upset at that in my mind
Feels
is no
tinfoil-y.
different. Very. It's like the
Yeah.
same as when people were talking
Feels tinfoil hat.
about, oh, like Luna blew up because it was a coordinated attack. Like it's the same
Well,
thing.
that
Like
was
if you can do it,
that was definitely
if you-
Blackstone or BlackRock and Citadel that.
but that's
hated
besides
no-
the point.
No, I'm kidding.
If you can, even if you're being serious, that's besides the point. If it can be done, you need to assume it will be done. Like
Yeah.
you can't just have your governance process be that way and be like, oh, we're just gonna like hopefully no one organization has 4% of the 4% of the tokens. Like it's if it can happen, you should assume it will happen. Like with anything in crypto, because that's just the way. Like someone's gonna come along and do it. If it's exploitable, if there's some sort of gain to be had from something like that, someone's gonna come and do it.
And they might have. I feel like you're leaning towards the whole Avi Iverson meme of if it's in the code, then it's gonna happen, or if it's possible, it's gonna happen.
I mean,
he ended up in jail.
That's where things get a little bit dodgy. But
No, I see what you're saying.
What do you think? Respond to that one. Regulation's a whole other thing.
What do you think? Where was I going with this? What do you think we could? The timer is really killing me. But would you rather? Do you want to go into how governance works? And because some people talk about representatives within a DAO, and
yeah,
or we could also go into how, like, Uniswap should have handled that to begin with. Or not to begin with.
Do you want to?
But to like, you can't step in if you're Uniswap. You have to let the vote go how the vote's gonna go. But I don't know.
This is there's like a lot to unpack here. Do you want to get into this today?
I think we can unpack this.
Like, I don't think we can either.
And I don't know if it's gonna be relevant next week, but
it might not.
Let's, with the final 3.5 minutes, let's just lead into Canto, just because I want to get this point into the air, because I basically saw people talking about Canto and how, like, the guy from Hassan, I think his name is, Hasib from Dragonfly. He was really shitting on Canto, and I have zero money in Canto. I wish I did, but he basically was saying his argument was that these protocols, or this chain picking protocols and picking the winners and like socializing it, makes it so that no innovation happens. And I feel like I disagree, mainly because they can just copy any good innovation that happens on Ethereum. And I want to hear what your take is on that, if I'm like crazy for thinking that.
No, I don't know. I don't really like the word. I guess it's totally accurate to call that copying, but just the fact that I say this not being any type of a developer, mind you, I'm still going to use the word we're all kind of this together and figuring this shit out as we go. Nothing really works. So like, why gatekeep what kind of works in one ecosystem to avoid them potentially, I don't know. The whole point is to push the envelope in my mind, right? And having that mindset, having that approach makes that a lot better for the common good, a lot better. But like, not a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people favor the common good these days, especially.
What do you mean by the common good in terms of the innovation that happens and what that brings in terms of common good? Or yeah, what do you mean by common good?
Yeah, that's essentially having these applications, having this code in different environments and different ecosystems with various different like tweaks on it to see what sticks, or just to try it out in different places and have different learnings from it. So I don't know. For
So you're
example,
saying it's like a good thing to try, Canto. It's a good experiment. Do you think it has legs? Do you have a prediction in the final 60 seconds?
do I think it has legs? I don't know. I think every experiment in the space has some good to it. But mind you, I also thought that Luna was like, the entire time Luna was going on, I was like aware and convinced it was an experiment, and it was one of the biggest ones we've seen in the space. But so obviously there's harm that can be done, but obviously, I mean, some good is gonna come out of it in the end. I don't know if it has legs. I don't know if I'd be entering anything like that. I do think it will be important in some way, shape, or form.
So good. That's it for episode 4. Have a good one.